We're in the book of Genesis in chapter 49. If you're reading through the chronological Bible in the study, you're already past chapter 50, but you'd make a terrible mistake in not going back and studying chapter 49. Many have said that its prophecy is equal to many sections in the book of Daniel, and the fact of the accuracy, and they're relatively short-term prophecies in the fact that they deal with the tribes from these sons of Jacob and their development of the Canaan land, and perhaps some in the future, but nevertheless, very great prophecy here from Jacob on his deathbed. Now, in order to keep track of the 12 sons, let's take another look at the chart of the 12 sons and see just exactly who they were born to and what order of birth they came in. Now remember that Jacob comes from Isaac and Rebekah, and then you see Leah, Zilpah, and you see each of the wives, including Rachel, who's the one that he loved the most. And then you'll see the birth order of each of the 12 children. And of course, we've been looking at Joseph over the last couple of days. So here's our scene. Jacob has gathered his 12 sons around his deathbed. Now he's gotten himself probably sitting up straight and maybe even feet on the floor as he speaks these words of prophecy about each of the sons. He starts out with his firstborn, Reuben. You'll find that in verses 3 and 4 of chapter 49. And he talks about his dignity and his power and the fact that he's firstborn of Leah, which you just saw on the chart. However, even though at this point Reuben's head is probably beginning to swell and his chest is starting to puff out, he says, "You're as uncontrollable as water." And because of that, you'll not find the fulfillment of being the firstborn and being the preeminent son that I have. You'll want to read Numbers, chapter 6, verse 32, and 1 Chronicles 5:26 to better understand this prophecy. But again, I would strongly recommend that at the very least you write down these prophecies, and then as you come to these books of Numbers and Joshua and Judges, that you'll be able to remember what Jacob said about his 12 sons and the 12 tribes that came from these sons. In verses 5 through 7, he deals with Simeon and Levi together because they were the ones that were responsible for bringing shame upon Jacob and the fact that they took revenge for their sister's defilement, and they're not terribly proud of them and the fact that he had to move on. And he tells them that because of their anger and this willful slaying of the whole townspeople, that they will be dispersed and scattered throughout the land. And again, you'll find Joshua chapter 19 very helpful in understanding that prophecy. Then in verses 8 through 12, we find the prophecy about Judah. Now, not firstborn and not one of the sons from his favorite wife, but nevertheless, the Spirit leading and Jacob's life, when he prophesies about Judah, he will be the one who will have his enemies bowing down to him as well as his brothers, and his scepter will not depart until Shiloh, and he will have preeminence, and as we know, will be the lineage. And then we have in verse 13 Zebulun, and it says that his tribe will dwell by the seaside. We assume that's the Mediterranean, although some have said it's the Sea of Galilee. Nevertheless, will be a haven for ships. And then he deals in verse 14 with Ishar, who's a strong donkey. It's not exactly what I would hope that I would be remembered for. Now, the donkey is a great, strong workhorse, but he's not very bright. As a matter of fact, he's downright dumb. And unfortunately, that's the prophecy about Ishtar, that he will be forced to be slave labor eventually. You'll find that in Judges chapter 1. But these are the prophecies that Jacob made about his sons. The first 6 of them we've covered today, and we'll cover 6 tomorrow. And that's my thought for the day. How do we apply it? Well, obviously, God tends to use many of the characteristics that we show in our lives, and show that because of self-will and free will, very often we carry out accordingly, and God foresees what we're going to be doing. And he certainly here through Jacob gives us a prophecy about 6 of the tribes of Israel, and tomorrow we'll look at the other 6. And that's my thought for the day. God bless you and have a great day.